Hello students, hope you all are fine. Today we are going to discuss the part 2 of the lesson separation of substances. So the next process that we will be discussing in the lesson separation of substances is sedimentation and decantation. Now sedimentation is the process where we can separate the insoluble solids. Suppose we have made a solution where there is one insoluble solid and one liquid, and then the insoluble solid will settle down. The clear liquid will float on top. That process of separating the insoluble solid, which is suspended or mixed in a liquid, and allowing them to settle down, is called as sedimentation. So the solid particles will settle down during sedimentation and will be called as sediments. And the clear liquid will be there on the upper surface above the sediment, and that is called as the supernatant, which will be taken out by the process of decantation. So we will here find out a mixture which contains a lot of impurities. Suppose water which contains a lot of impurities, and we can follow the process of sedimentation where we'll allow the water to settle down, and then what will happen? The sediment will settle down at the bottom of the container, and the clear liquid will be there on the top, which can be taken out without the disturbance of the mixture, and that process of taking out the clear liquid is called as decantation. The liquid is called supernatant, and the solid that has settled down is called as the sediments. So the process is sedimentation, settling down of the heavier impurities, and above there will be the clear liquid, which is called as the supernatant. So we can take a mixture of sand and water, and it can be easily separated by this process. The sand will settle down, the clear water will be there on top, which is the supernatant, and easily the liquid can be poured without disturbing the sediments. So this process is called as sedimentation, and taking out the clear upper liquid without disturbing is called as decantation. Now the process of filtration. See, the filtration is done when there are two substances. One is solid and another is liquid, and they can be easily separated by passing it through the filtering device or any thing that allows filtration, that is called filtering device. So we'll have to separate out the mixture of solid and liquid by using filtering device, and that is called as filtration. And commonly it is used in our homes. As you all know, we prepare tea by straining the tea leaves. Also we remove the pulp from the fresh fruit juice by the help of filtration. The impurities from the water can also be removed by the process of filtration. So while filtration has to take place, there should be the insoluble solid, which should be taken out from the liquid by the help of the filtering device. The liquid will pass through and settle down in the vessel that we have put below the filtering device. The particles which are insoluble will settle on the filtering device through which we are filtering. That is called the filtering device. Now for the laboratory experiments, we always use a filter paper as a filtering device, and it has also got very fine pores in it, which allows the impurities to settle on the filter paper, and the clear liquid will flow through the filter paper and settle down in the vessel that is placed below it. Next is the process of evaporation. So what is this? When the liquid changes to gas, that is called as evaporation. So here some heating method should be given so that the water heats up and the liquid heats up and this changed into gas. So when the liquid part of the mixture evaporates, the solid part will be left behind. So for this, a simple activity can be performed by taking a mixture of common salt and water, which can be easily separated by evaporation. So very old example of this evaporation is evaporating seawater, by which we get the salt. So you can see the pictures over here that is given in your book. So here you can see seawater has salt dissolved in it. Now what is happening? The different steps are followed. To obtain salt, seawater is collected in shallow pits and allowed to stand. Then the sun evaporates the water, salt which is left behind is collected, and then after purification the salt is ready for our use, for our consumption. So this is the process of evaporation, where a mixture of liquid and solid is separated by applying heat. The solid remains and the liquid evaporates into gas. So let us discuss about this activity. Here in this activity there is a aim to separate the mixture of salt and sand. So how to separate the mixture of salt and sand? We have to take the mixture of salt and sand, filter paper, burner, 2 test tubes, 2 test tube holders and water. So we have to take the mixture of salt and sand in a test tube, and we can add water to it and shake it well. The salt will dissolve in water, but the sand will not dissolve in water. So the sand can be separated by using a filter paper, a funnel and another test tube. So when the salt is dissolved in water, it will remain in the first test tube. When we heat the first test tube, then the salt will be left behind and the water will change into vapor. So what we can see is salt is left behind in the test tube. So here two processes, filtration and evaporation, are used to separate the mixture of salt and sand. So maybe for separation of substances, sometimes we have to use more than one method. So here we have separated mixture of salt and sand by the process of evaporation and filtration. So first process was filtration and the second was evaporation. Next is condensation. What happens in condensation? The gas changes into liquid. So it is the opposite of evaporation. So water vapor condenses to form as liquid, and that is called as dew. That happens in nature. In the morning you can see dewdrops on the leaves. So this is what? This is when the water vapor condenses, cools down and forms into water droplets. That becomes the dew. So whenever the vapor touches a cold surface, it forms water droplets. So condensation will take place when water vapor touches or heats the cold surface. Then they will form into droplets. Next topic is solution and solubility. As you all know, solution is a mixture of a solid and a liquid. So when we try to dissolve some salt in water, the salt disappears because the salt has dissolved in water. So what is dissolving? It is a change where substances mix completely with the liquid. Not only water, we can take any liquid and try to dissolve some solids, any solid in it. So if it completely mixes, then that is called as dissolving. All the substances will not dissolve in water. Some of the substances will only dissolve in water, like salt, sugar, like this. But chalk, sand, they will not dissolve in water. So they are insoluble substances. Those substances that dissolve in water are called as soluble substances. Those substances that do not dissolve or mix completely with the water, that are called as insoluble substances. Dissolving means mixing completely in the liquid. So there are two types of substances, soluble and insoluble substances. Now we take a glass of water and we try to put some salt and try to dissolve it. So the water is the solvent, and the solid that we want to dissolve, that is the salt or sugar or whatever, that is called as the solute. The substance that dissolved is called as solute. The substances in which the solute dissolved is called as the solvent. and they both together form the solution. So solute, the solid part, solvent, the liquid part, forms the solution. Here sugar is the solute, water is the solvent, and we get the sugar solution. So this way a solution can be formed. But if you take 1 glassful of water, then 1 teaspoon of sugar you try to dissolve, then you try to dissolve 2 teaspoons of sugar, then continuously you increase the amount of sugar, then you will notice that after some times, after going on adding the sugar for a long time, you can see that some grains of sugar will remain at the bottom of the solution, wherein if you try more, the sugar will not dissolve in water. So this type of solution is called as saturated solution, in which no more of the solute can be dissolved. Okay, so here what you can see is no more of the solute can be dissolved. If you go on adding and adding and adding, but no more of the solution, that means solute can be dissolved in that solution, because it has got its maximum capacity. So what is saturated solution? In which is no more of the solute can be dissolved. Now we come to the topic solubility. What is this? This is the ability or the capacity of the substance to get dissolved in a given liquid. When a substance dissolves in a given liquid, their ability or the capacity is called as solubility. So the quantity of the substance that can dissolve in the hot water is much more than compared to the cold water. If you increase the temperature of the water, the solute can dissolve more in amount, but if it is cold water, the solute will dissolve in less quantity. So in order to increase the solubility of a substance, you can do one thing is the factor is by stirring, by continuously stirring the solution. You can take spoonful of sugar, you can take glasses of water, and then 1 glass you keep undisturbed and another glass you continuously stir. Then you can see the sugar can dissolve in that glass which is continuously stirred, which is not kept undisturbed, but the one which is continuously stirred. So this is one of the factors that will affect the solubility of a solute. And the other one is the powdered form. If you use the solute or the solid part in powder form, then also the solubility will increase. If you want to add sugar cubes in 1 glass and then another glass you add powdered sugar, so the sugar in the powdered form will dissolve first. So now we have discussed about sedimentation, decantation, evaporation, filtration, and we have discussed about the solubility, solute, solvent, and saturated solution. I hope all of you have understood. In the next video, I will be showing you the activities related to this lesson. Thank you.